Hi guys, it's Joan Gregerson here. I'm the owner of Positive Energy Works. I'm a wellness coach and eco-nut, and I just thought I would share with you a little bit about what I've been finding out about using EasyWebinar. So I am just starting my coaching business, and I am getting ready to launch an online course, and I'm trying to use a webinar as part of my sales funnel. And so I had been using Zoom and MailChimp, and it was just overwhelming. And so I decided to go ahead and sign up for EasyWebinar. And there's a couple different ways you can sign up. You can sign up as a single user, and I think it was like $4.97. And then they had an extra offer for around $100 more as a commercial user. And then you could let, I think, 4 more people in on your license. Well, I just went for the first one, but I really love it, and I thought this information might be helpful if you're looking at other webinar systems to know what is in EasyWebinar. So I'm just going to start by showing you the dashboard, and here is the webinar that I'm starting. And as I said, I'm just starting out. I have no idea what I'm doing really, but I love this intro page here, that it shows that 260 people landed on my page, only 8 opted in, so that there's probably some problems there. And then one of those people actually came to the webinar, and then that person watched it, and 2 other people watched the replay, and 1 person took actions. And then it shows you down here who did what. So you can actually go in and see the details of what happened on each of these. So each of these buttons, it will tell you who watched and for what % of the time. So who watched more than 50% of the time, and it will filter it and show you. So it's pretty cool that way. So that's just kind of the starters. The one thing I love about EasyWebinar is I've learned quite a bit just from watching all the training videos with Casey, who is the founder. And one thing I realized was that there's a lot of things I probably should have been doing and I didn't. And that this kind of forces you, I think, to be more organized. So the way I set this up is I'm setting it up, doing it now as an evergreen event. So you could do live or you could do evergreen. And with live, you can have a chat box. And with evergreen, you can have a question box. But I'll show you that in a little bit. So this part is the event time, type, and schedule. And you can choose to have, if it is an evergreen, an automated event, then you can choose to show the times in the attendee's local time zone. If you do it in live, it does not, unless you just have one option. I had it set up for multiple options, and it didn't. So if you just have one option, one time in live, it will show it in their time zone. So right now, I have it set up as evergreen, so it will show up when they select the time in their time zone. I'm doing it as a recurring event. I'm offering it every single day of the week, 3 times a day. And I'm running it until the date of my course starting, so until May 24th. And this is a really cool thing, because when I tried to set this up before, sometimes, honestly, I wouldn't get around to it when I tried to set up a replay. But all you do here is you just say enable yesterday's replay, and if so, then in these follow-up emails, it'll just send them to that page. This is another cool thing, this enable in-time registration. And what this means is, so right now I have it set to 30 minutes. And so if someone shows up like at 7:15, then it's going to show that there's an event coming up at 7:30. And also if they're showing up like midnight or 2 a.m., it's not going to show that there is a webinar coming up at 2 a.m. It's going to you can exclude whatever hours you want. So I'm excluding from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then you can also say, what do you want to show. So you could just have it, just say, well, you missed it, but you can watch yesterday's replay. Or you can watch yesterday's replay and the next available time, or the next two. So I have yesterday's replay and the next two available times. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. And so when someone goes to my registration page, then I have a video here that goes in autoplay. And over here, it says watch yesterday's replay now. So I think that's a cool option, because a lot of times somebody just wants to watch it right then. And otherwise you'll see that it shows that there's one at 7:30 p.m. And so right now it's 7:15. So that is actually a little weird looking, because it also shows one at 8 p.m. So I could change that or just leave it. I don't know, what is the best way to do that. But, and then there's a little bit of, okay, let me get back to that. You can also put in the presenter information here. And so that also is going to show up then on your registration page. Okay, so that was the event. Okay, sorry, that's a registration page. And as you saw in mine, you can put a video in there if you want. And you can customize it a little bit. So, you can make like this. I had, yes, save me a spot. You can put whatever you want there. The next one is the thank you page. So this is after someone registers for your webinar. And this is so cool, I think. So in the text here, I said, thank you for registering. Here's the link to the free cheat sheet. But they also have something called social sharing. And it's a social sharing incentive. And so here I have you could either enable a reward video or a reward document. So I have a reward document. So if you look here, where is the thank you page? Okay, so here's my thank you page. So here's the little video that I put together. Hi there, so glad you signed up for the webinar. Check your email and you'll be getting that free cheat sheet that I mentioned. And so I'm not sure how much of that you can hear from there, but basically it's just saying that you can, if you go over here and let's see, I'm going to tweet it. So if I tweet this, so if I tweet it, so if a visitor comes and tweets it, then they unlock whatever reward you give them. So I'm giving them a little infographic on how to do a morning ritual. But I think that is super cool. And I think that they said about somewhere around 15% of the people will go ahead and share it to get that free gift. So that is a neat feature. Okay, so then that was the thank you page. So the next one is the event page. And so this is where what you're going to show on the page where you're actually doing the video. And you can either use YouTube Live or you can upload your own video. The first time I used YouTube Live, and then I downloaded that, edited it, and then in Camtasia, then I uploaded it back to YouTube as an unlisted video, and then I just pasted the URL right here. And let's see, video length, that all looks good. Then you can tell people where to go where to get redirected after the webinar ends. So I want them to go to my sales page for my More Veggies Bootcamp. And they also have a couple different options here. So if it's live, you can have a chat box. If it's not live, you can have a contact box. And I'll show you what that looks like. or you could do Facebook comments or Twitter or do a third party. So I've just been using the contact box and telling people that they can send their questions to me, and if I don't get to them during the webinar, then I'll respond later. But if they do send a question during the webinar, I'll get it by email and I can respond if I'm available still during the webinar. Okay, that's the event page. And then this is the replay page, which is basically the same. But you can turn the replay on or off. So if for some reason you don't want replay on, or if you want it to end on a specific date, then you can do that. So here's what the replay page looks like. Oh, let me show you one more thing before we look at that. So on the event page, you can also put up offers. So you can have different things show up at different times. Like I told people that if they attended, they would get a free gift. And so I mentioned that at 3 minutes and 1 second in. And so I say, oh, hey, I forgot to say, you can download your free gift to get those shopping tips for buying your juice. And so when they see that button, they can push download now and they can get that right during there. Let me see what the other offers are that I have in here. Also, at the beginning of the webinar, I put up the cheat sheet, and I have a message that comes across that says, hey, here's your free cheat sheet for the webinar. If you haven't already downloaded it, then download now. And then the last thing I have, which is the offer that you're seeing right now, is I have a quick action offer. And so I just changed the length of my video. I uploaded a new one. So I want to change this to go all the way to the end. And so what this is going to do is when I start talking about my program, and when I get to the point where I want them to go ahead and click on the sales page, then I can have this offer come up. And it also has a countdown timer showing the number of minutes left in the webinar when they can click on this. I know some people would have a quick action and say, this is a 5-minute quick action, but I wanted to say it's a 48-hour quick action because I want to follow up with them by email and keep encouraging them to sign up. So I'm not sure if that makes the most sense or not, but that's the way that I'm doing it. And then the other part that I think is amazing of this program are these event notifications. So you can see this is before event, and they're going to get, so you can get an email when someone registers. You can also send out a welcome email. You can turn these on or off. So if you want to do it through your autoresponder, you can. But otherwise you can, so when there's all these different times happening, then the EasyWebinar already knows all about that. So then you can just set up event notifications like, okay, it's 3 hours before the webinar will start in 3 hours. And so I use basically the same template, remind them here's the cheat sheet, and, give them a little something to think about. So I try and customize these a little. And then there's a 1 hour, and then I have a 15-minute, and hey, we're starting now. But the cool thing is no matter when it's happening, then EasyWebinar is figuring out how many hours it is from the one that they chose and sending out those invitations, those reminders. And then after your event, so this is what I think is really cool as well, is so I have something going up 2 hours later saying, hey, did you miss some or all of the webinar? No problem, that happens. That's why I have the replay up. Hop in before it comes down, And then, hey, check out my boot camp starting May 24th. And by the way, I announced a 48-hour quick action bonus at the end of the webinar. And then as I get closer, then I keep, so that was 2 hours out, and then I go 1 day later, and then 1 day and 8 hours. And then I tell them, hey, you know, the quick action bonus is a free coaching session with Joan in addition when you sign up for the More Veggies Bootcamp. So, you know, I'm giving them more details, but in each link, then they can click on the replay or they can go to the sales page for my offer. So those are all the things I think are so amazing. And it makes me realize, oh yeah, I wasn't really doing all this before. There's also event integration, and I haven't actually set this up yet. For some reason, it's not finding the list that I set up that I wanted to use in MailChimp. So I don't know, I might need to just set up a new list or contact support at EasyWebinar. But so far they've been great. I haven't asked them about that question yet. So I'm going to just go save and publish. So what I love about this is from here you can go and check out all your different pages. So I think the only one that we really haven't seen is what the replayed link looks like. And that first challenge comes up. And you can also use it to make your own almond milk. What's kind of cool about this is it remembers if you were partially through and you refresh, it's going to pick it back up from where you were. And I think that is a good thing. And here, so I'm right almost at the end of the webinar in this case. And so now my quick action bonus offer is showing up here. And the other thing is here is where the question box is. So if you want to ask questions during your webinar, even if it's a recorded one, you can say, hey, you know, I want you to take a minute, think about this one thing before we dive in. So for me, I said, you know, what would be the impact of being able to control your eating and your weight? And what would that do for your life? So go ahead and write that in the question box. So you can kind of use it as a little bit of a chat box as you're going through. And then you can also say, hey, if you have any questions, then if something I didn't answer, then feel free to put it in the question box. And if I don't get back to you during the webinar, then check your email and I'll get back to you then. Okay. So then if somebody clicks on this, then they get taken to my sales page, which is where I want them to go. So that is pretty much it as far as how I am using EasyWebinar. And as I said, I'm brand new to this. And I think, as you can tell from my numbers, I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But that's okay. I'm sure I will learn. And for those of you that are looking at other webinar platforms, I just thought it'd be helpful if you saw what EasyWebinar is offering. And if you are interested in learning how to take back control of your eating and your weight, and you want to get more veggies into your life, so if any of those are interesting to you, then check out my free training at foodfreedomnaturally.com. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Bye.